I have in the studio Miracles Aboagye. It's always a pleasure to have you here on Newsdesk. Oh, I'm glad you're here. So let's get into the issues. We'll get your brief reaction on the calls for the lands minister to go. The NPP already has a stance when it comes to illegal mining. Do you think those calls are valid at this point?
I really doubt those who try to scapegoat in situations like this actually mean well for the country, and then you begin to ask yourself whether genuinely it is the issue they want addressed or they just want to do politics. These are people who say lands minister should go, but tell us to go and vote for former President Mahama and come with his ministers. This is a group of people who were in power and could not manage this situation. You recall, when Anadanko Akufo-Addo came to office and was being sworn in his statement, he had Galamsey as a major issue, which he promised to deal with. You recall? What it means is that anybody that creates an impression as if Galamsey was a creation of Nana Akufo-Addo in the last 8 years is just trying to do politics. I'm bringing all of this in to simply say that this is a social canker. You don't fight social canker scapegoating. If you scapegoat in the fight against social canker, you don't get results. Because what happens is that you allow the actual perpetrators to hide. Because you're not even pointing at them. You're not talking about them. You're not addressing them. You rather identified one or two people and you keep hammering as if today Abu Jinapo is removed from the lands ministry, there will be no Galamsey. This is a canker where the former environment minister, Honorable Ayariga, under the NDC, actually said on record, and it's reported on your portal, that he thinks we should give up on the fight against Galamsey. In fact, he recommended that we should legalize illegal mining. I mean, you see the contradiction. Legalize illegal mining. Where he said that it has become so difficult fighting this canker under the Atena because chiefs are involved, according to him, chiefs are involved, religious leaders are involved, opinion leaders, assembly members, and everybody, is involved. And so if you just get up and say, oh, there's Galamsey, fire the lands minister. Before the lands minister, was there Galamsey? Was there Galamsey before this lands minister? And so if you fire the lands minister tomorrow, does it end Galamsey?
So you feel that calls to relieve him of duty is not important?
No, the point is that before I say that, let's relieve you of your role as a host on this program, you might have been culpable of something. I might have seen that you are either incompetent in fixing it, or you are doing what you are doing, or you haven't done what it is that you are supposed to do. But so I haven't heard anybody say any such thing about the lands minister. And my problem is that you don't find social canker by scapegoating and politicizing. If you try to fight social canker by scapegoating and politicizing, you leave the real culprits. They'll be doing their thing whilst you fight amongst yourselves. I am one person that has refrained from allowing myself to be drawn into this Galamsey conversation on partisan lines. Whose purpose does it serve? Who wins in this? This Galamsey menace, right from 2011, that's when it reared its head, under the former president as vice president and former President Mills. Before, whilst Rawlings was in office, we had Galamsey. Galamsey is an 80s, 60s, 70s, ancient, pre-colonial activity. But they were not mining in river bodies. The actual river body Galamsey that we are seeing today reared its head in 2010, 2011. For the entire period that these people that are advocating for somebody to be scapegoated were in power, they couldn't fight it. They gave up. They lifted their hands in despair. We are people who have come to inherit this canker from them. And that should be put on record. And so it is we rather who are trying to fight a canker introduced by them. And so what should be done right now is to say that what is government's effort so far in the fight against this social canker? Why hasn't it worked? Government, we think that you should tweak this side, you should tweak this side, you should tweak this side. But I don't know why Galamsey fight is becoming very difficult. All of a sudden, we've allowed some of these people who claim to be neutrals to put this Galamsey conversation into the partisan political contest. So what happens is that everybody in Ghana today thinks that Galamsey is there because NPP officials are doing Galamsey. Was it NDC officials who were doing Galamsey in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2014? When the minister gave and when cocoa farms were being cut down? Didn't the former president, please hold on, didn't the former president set up a task force to deal with Galamsey? Why didn't it work? So you're saying that we should vote against it and go for who? The one who introduced it. And that is my worry. You have somebody...
So you don't want us to politicize issues?
No.
Fair point.
You have somebody digging under his bed.
We're dealing with an emergency here, because the Ghana Water Company has served notice that Ghana, we may be forced to import water in the nearest future because of the dire impact of illegal mining. Now, we are quite interested in this administration because we know that at the start of this administration, the president assured us that he would deal with this. This is the key reason why Operation Vanguard was created. And so at this point where our water bodies are polluted and people are struggling to even find potable water, even though they live very close to the river bodies, the concern is about action.
That is the point.
Exactly.
So the evidence
so we want
is that,
to see
so the evidence
some
is
sort
that,
of action.
What is the action? What action is left
what
other
action
than
is the
what
NPP
action
going
is
to
left
do at
other
this
than the
point?
government sending military men and police to go and burn excavators and to get these people out of our river bodies? What action is left other than the government setting up community mining schemes and draw these young people to do safe mining? What action is left beyond the government providing the river body guards to help patrol these places? And this is a social canker. What it means is that it is a crime. And people would always find ways and means to commit a crime. That is why even though we have police, we still have people committing robbery this morning and this afternoon. But there is police. The fact that government and state have police and all security agencies doesn't mean that people have stopped committing a crime. But you see, when you are fighting a social canker, it's a different ballgame. When you have somebody digging under his bed, his own bed, so he can mine, you can see the psyche of these people and how much they want to get involved in this. That is why it is important for us to call out those who are making it difficult for us to fight the social canker. Why haven't you or anybody on the multimedia platform ever played this NDC video?
So why don't you call out the names?
No, but for example, it's a video is out there. The man who is spearheading the NDC agenda when it comes to mining, Dr. Tony Oben, and the NDC national officers are on video, not once, not twice, not just 3 locations, but multiple locations, videos of which are on social media. And think about this. Whilst government is beating people, arresting people, burning excavators, the other important aspect of this fight against Galamsey is the social reorientation, where people would need to have a reorientation of their minds to understand the danger that this Galamsey thing poses to us as our survivor. Then you have the biggest opposition party who is fighting to come to power in the Galamsey side, standing with them and telling them that, you know what, Galamsey preceded politics. Vote against these people and vote for us. When we come to office, do you see this man? His name is Tony Oben. He is the one who is going to be made the CEO of Minerals Commission. The very day NDC wins power, we are going to let all of you come and mine. This is the real threat. This is the real emergency. There is not a single enabler that is bigger than this issue. Because you see, what is happening is that you go and embolden the guys. So government cannot be in everybody's home at the same time. So you send Operation Vanguard, they go and burn excavators and leave. And these people go and they are emboldened. Today, when you go to the mining areas, they will tell you that, you know what, let me go and mine. I'll make money. If they arrest me within 3 months, NDC will come, they will come and remove me.
And we'll hold calls for a state of emergency
to
be declared.
For what?
Do you feel it's necessary?
No, I'm just asking for what?
You feel
Do you
it's
remember
necessary?
in 2018 or 2019, there was a ban on small-scale mining.
Yeah.
Did they end Galamsey? I keep telling you, we've allowed these guys to mislead all of us on a path that will never get Galamsey solved. Galamsey is a social canker. These people live in this area. This is all they know their entire lives. Now, think about it. And that is where I'm coming into Dr. Mahmoud Bamiye's proposal for dealing with Galamsey. The person has grown up in this area from the age of 6. He sees all these things happening. He doesn't know where the gold actually is, but he knows that the land he lives on has gold. And so he wakes up in the morning, he starts scavenging and just hope that he finds something. And because it's very difficult to scavenge on the rocks and on earth, he goes to the river bodies where it is easy. Over there, as he digs, he's washing and he gets what he wants. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is saying that if we don't rechannel the energies of these young people into safe and appropriate mining, this fight we are talking about is a dead fight. And I agree with him. I absolutely agree with him. So he says he is going to provide the geo data that shows where these minerals can be found. Now, if you're a Ghanaian and you identify a concession, of course, based on the geo data that government has provided you, and you are interested in mining, currently, the Ghanaian will travel to the US or to China and go and look for a partner because we don't have the money to be able to mine safely. He's going to set up the Minerals Development Bank that will provide the financial muscle needed for the Ghanaian concessionaire to mine so that these concessions will be wholly Ghanaian owned. Then all these young people who are in these rivers will now have a local man that has a concession that has been given the muscle by government to be able to mine, the financial muscle by government to be able to mine safely. And then they will all work for this person to do safe and appropriate mining. Do you know how many small-scale mining firms are in Ghana doing safe and appropriate mining? Are you aware that about 40% of our gold that we have, gold production every year, is from small-scale mining? And let me shock you. These small-scale miners are not doing illegal mining. They are not doing galamsey. We should stop putting all of these things together. Galamsey, as we are defining it today, and we are discussing today, are the people, one, who don't have the licenses to mine, and two, who are mining in our river bodies, in our reserve, forest reserves, where they are not supposed to mine. So if you have been able to mobilize resources, you have a concession in Seshi somewhere, you have all the regulations, you have employed, there is a small-scale mining firm employing close to about 5,000 young people in the western region. You are saying that we should ban them for what wrong? What crime has he committed? Because there is armed robbery, everybody should be left at home, everybody should be kept at home. Is that a sensible way to solve a social canker? That there is a lot of armed robbery, or there's a lot of phone snatching around Circle. So government should ban everybody coming to Circle. That is an emotive, an emotional way of trying to solve a problem. And that is why I keep telling you that these people who come on TV and radio and talk about ban, they are doing politics. Because you see, the NDC are the ones leading all these things with all their surrogates. Then when they come on radio and say government is not fighting it, do this, then they'll go to the pit. And I've sent the video to ECHO, and I'm begging ECHO to play this video, to hear these NDC operatives telling these galamseyers that forget NPP. You say they are sacking you, and they are burning your excavators. And then let me tell you one thing. If you have the opponents going into the pits to go and say these things, don't you realize that they have disarmed government effort in fighting this canker? Because anytime government goes in and leaves, the people will come back because they have a backing. Don't forget, the flag bearer of the opposition party, these people who are in the pit encouraging the galamseyers, has already told the galamseyers that when I become president, I will free all of you who have committed a crime and have been imprisoned. Why do we think we don't have to talk about this? All of you, producers, media people, why are you not talking about this? Why are you making it look like the solution?
I'm just getting information right now from my producer that video you just shared was as far back as 2020. Does that change your position? No,
that is why it should be played. That should tell you why we are still here, in spite of all the things you mentioned. That is why it should be played, and I want it played. They shouldn't cover it up. Let the viewers see it. That the reason why Operation Vanguard will fail, the reason why Operation Halt will fail, the reason why we burnt a lot of excavators, beat people, this government has jailed, prosecuted and jailed the most.
And we'll bring you that video for our viewers watching. Very eager on social media to watch it. We'll bring it. We'll bring it shortly. We'll play it. So I'm just getting information from my producer that will play you that video shortly. But let's come back to the substantive issue.
It tells you why the fight will delay. Because these people are emboldened and are enabled by, you know how strong an opposition party is.
But you're just making the point right now that to a large extent the people we're hearing raise noise about the impact of illegal mining are politically motivated. But how about labor unions, TUC, demanding that government act, else they'll withdraw their services nationwide? How about the Christian Council?
You see, you're not hearing them. You know why? It is because we've allowed the politics to cover them. These are genuine voices. The labor, these are people who are genuinely raising concerns. But when they raise the concerns, and we allow all these surrogates to come in, we don't ever get to the crux of the matter. Who has ever thought that, or ever brought the discussion to the fore, that galamsey should be treated as a social canker? I can give you 1,000 reasons why galamsey is like any form of addiction that you can think of. And the next question is, how do we fight addiction? When you go and arrest a cocaine-addicted victim, does it necessarily get him to stop? If you leave him the next day, don't you think he will go there? But when you arrest him, you take him for rehabilitation, so that by the time you bring him back, he is fully rehabilitated. But here we are not discussing it. We are making it look like today, if you remove Nana Akufo-Addo, galamsey ends. Meanwhile, before Nana Akufo-Addo, that was when galamsey started. And who are you removing Nana Akufo-Addo for? The same people who started galamsey. The people who are in the pit and enabling the galamseyers. And so I am bringing this up and say that enough, media. Enough of bringing all these surrogates to come and discuss galamsey. Let's really elevate this galamsey conversation.
And that's what we've been doing here.
That's what you're doing. When you call Oliver,
spoke to Oliver because they are about to hit the street.
Oliver is always looking for one reason to hit the street.
Demonstration, and that is something that's happening.
Oliver is always looking for one. Ask him. He's always looking for one reason or the other to hit the street. So wait, after he hit the street tomorrow, ends galamsey. Why are you not going to the house of the former president? Why are you not Government has done that. Government has introduced river guards. Government has done that. So these are specific things. So the next thing will be, why? Why is it that upon all these interventions government has put in place, we still have this canker coming up? Dear government, shall we relook at what you have done? And can we also propose things that we believe can be done? But if you begin to throw things in, 80 days to elections, 2020, when we asked them to go and fight galamsey, when we were forcing the hands of the government like we are doing today, to go to galamsey areas and go and beat people up and seize the excavators, then we were in the pits telling the people to mine and vote for us. This government, because of its quest to fight galamsey, lost elections in almost all of these galamsey areas. And anybody believes that they can point fingers at the government, a government that puts its electoral fortunes on the line, and there is evidence that the people voted against them simply because of that effort. You are going to call the government names, and you said that government should be voted against, and be voted for who? The one who is an enabler of galamsey, the one who introduced galamsey, the one whose record is there on your portal, indicating clearly that he has failed in the fight against galamsey, and he has raised his hands. Why are you guys doing this? Why? And nobody wants to talk about it. And then if you talk about it, I come from the mountains, so nobody can accuse me of galamsey. I've never seen raw gold by myself, so I can speak about it. But make a mistake, come from the central region or come from the western region and talk about galamsey. The next day they will brand you as a galamseyer. That's their way of weaving around this thing. And how do we ever get to solve this problem if we continue like this?
So what do you propose we do now?
Dr. Mahmoud,
concrete steps.
I have taken you through that. Dr. Mahmoud Bamia is saying that, listen, upon a careful review of all the things we have done, it is clear that it is a source of economic survival for a lot of these people in the mining areas. So let's tap into that.
There are calls for the immediate ban of all forms of mining. And these calls are stemming from concerns that it's very difficult to separate the wheat from the chaff at this time when we have just 79 days to the general election. And we want to see action
When I
now.
tell you that this thing is political motivated, you don't understand it. Let me tell you why. Why are they calling it for that now? Are you aware that in 2018 there was a 1.5 year ban on small scale mining? Did they end galamsey? Did they end galamsey? So a strategy you have tried before. Why do you try the same strategy? It didn't work. Why do you try the same strategy? Why don't you propose something new? They talk as if ban against galamsey proposal is a new thing. It's been done before. It was done in 2018. If it solved galamsey, why are we discussing galamsey again? So why is anybody proposing a strategy that never worked in the past that we should do it again? And expect me to follow you hook, line, sinker? No, I will not be hoodwinked. The ban against galamsey, ban against small-scale mining, I don't think is the way to go because, one, we have tried it before and it didn't solve the problem. Number two, there are people who are legitimately doing small-scale mining. It has nothing to do with galamsey. It has nothing to do... Then we should go and ban Newmont and ban Goldfields and Anglo-Gold Ashanti and all of that. But where Anglo-Gold Ashanti and Newmont and Co are mining, what has it got to do with all the discussions we are having? So again, I tell you that it is politically motivated. Indeed, our water bodies are being affected. Indeed, Galamsey is destroying the water bodies. But the proposals they are making, they are not making it in the interest of the water bodies. They are making it in the interest of their political affiliations. Let's push them like we did to them in 2020. Ban small scale. Do you know what happens when you ban small scale mining? There are tens of thousands of people who are going to lose their jobs. And I'm telling you that. There is one small scale mining, just one, that is employing close to about 5,000. So multiply by the number of small scale mining companies who are genuinely operating. So government should go and ban small scale mining. If my government bans small scale mining, I'll demonstrate against them. You know why? You know why? Because you are going to cause tens of thousands of people to lose their jobs. Why would you do that? So there are armed robbers in town. Because there are armed robbers in town, and there are armed robbers who are snatching phones in Circle, let's ban anybody from coming to Circle. Is that a sensible solution to anything?
Na yɛtoatoa adwen na ne titiriw yɛ magana fo ho die tipɔte yɛ sɔm to aba ɛma Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia na enwumre yi mewura ho kakra mewura ho esane sɛ mehwɛ ekwan a yafa so a yɛpɛsɛ yɛde kyekyere ɔman wei na yɛhwɛ ekwan a yɛnnuanom opposition fo edi ɔman no ɛfa so a na ɛareho na ene no aka a few days because there are 80 days yi mu anesa na yɛ kwa koto aba sɛ yɛ nyina yɛ nkan ho ambom na yɛ amfa ni bre anka nkyerɛ ndisifo sɛ afedie abroso Maya amana broswa wa hwe omanyi ebebo to the extent that eneno we cannot even have a very simple conversation on national issues and this is for entoto abo eni yanwea engum omama oman ne kanko ayetin omama oman ne mpuntuo ayetin ekamia koye se omo de esane tumi nti ankoman no embo esane se omo adwemu no so man ne bo a na automatically no Ghana for the oman no ahye omonsa enei omo ya to the extent say even when we have the new national issues to discuss wa bemu a na wo shompo so de beba because wo de ko be ndisifo ebe cheche nyoma so no mu de fi atare wo ho no ma settle up say na Ghana for e kan brofo no o ma set the citizens up against you, but we cannot continue like that. Enkopem da ben na ebetena wo no matoto mfuturo egu yeni na ma ensem poten na da ho na sese ye ka no ye begya ka esane se ye kwakọ yi omo ano enwumrei enkomo a ye ba bedi no eye enkomo a eye Ghana ni bie hi asem eda Ghana ni bie akoma so ha Ghana ni bie a ye nyina ye hwese ye bepe kwa ye befa so a ye be kyekyere saa enkomo yi na ya bone po wabra ye nyina ya kabom na ye de nhyehyɛ atokwa mu a ye betumi de asoso ano enso ekamia koye say ye nuano mo opposition ndc mo no they are not interested in dealing with the major national issues that require the attention of the country. For them, they prefer when it is going bad so that it will become their gain. Inti wambe we ni abrea udi Amerika ehyehyɛ niama no na omu dwire gu fam. Wo hyehyɛ no no mu dwire gu fam. Wo hyehyɛ no no mu dwire gu fam. Enei adeɛ bako a ɛha Ghana for ya dream pa wo man we mu eye illegal mining. They are Yenyina yenim say efeno galamsey. It is one of the biggest social cankers that we have to deal with as a country. Time memorial, year upon year, adaneni. Ye nyina ye pre Ghana ni bio dog Ghana drink Ghana who be adwin say we have to find a way to deal with this social canker. But we all agree say you cannot deal with the social canker when you have sabotage. You cannot deal with the social canker when you have people within that are undermining you. You cannot deal with the social canker when you have people within that are fighting your efforts to deal with that canker. Na dia yakra ne se ewia eso de omoka anaju desi wo so eso de omoka omo ma na ye tin ma ye omo ma okono ai ti. But with the mindset of possibilities, we in the New Patriotic Party believe say we shall overcome and we'll be able to deal with this social canker and deal with it once and for all, in spite of Nyama Omoye editwitwan ya naimu editwitwan ya kwemu NDC for abaye abatros achechire Ghana for kon e ka abatros a ayese Kofi Annan twere no yeso ubomu a usiwu wambomu a uniwu NDC for de na kwakwa yete se omo abesoan yete se adeso a ye ya ho hwia eyeji omo abeka tena ye konso enei no omo de osoro no pa se o man ne beko nim de nkam bo because o man ne bo no no benya bibi aka se obesoro no pa akoka che Ghana for say ni ntina mi gina so se monto ba mamere da bi de o man penin dada ene ne pamfo ya ne se o man ne mbo ntom dom so no pom bisa bon de na asai wo man nim Ghana fo e mo mehwe wo man na asai wo monto ba man omo kadia omo fi se omo no betumi na hwan ne ka se wo chichiro man ya ubenya niam nyina totro te se na ope no se ne eti bia no ubenya papa wom ebi ko nanim no na wonya akwanhie nya difficulty ne challenges. What you do is to mobilize the people who can nipa ne bom ne apekwa e befa so e besoso no na wo ye den e kon galamsey ne illegal mining when opposition party no e ye nipa ba ko a omo hyemu kena e hyemu ja enei Makai Catholic Bishops Conference not FN saying press release on my Makai organized labor press release on my Makai various groups concerned be a right because aden and I say it's not Ghana for yankasa you say in to be a right so be able to resist our concern but here raises our concern. The biggest question is how do we deal with it and deal with it decisively? Kwambe ne befa so ye besoso ano ya soso ano prekope social canker de ni yi no enda fam. To deal with the social canker you need a concerted effort. Unhia nipa ni nyina se ya no beko benkro as ye tumi deal with social canker. Nti enumrei I am calling on organized labor, I am calling on the clergy, I am calling on traditional authorities, I'm calling on civil society organizations as we call on government to increase its effort in the fight against galamsey. Please, let's call out the opposition party and tell them that enough is enough. Stop fueling this social canker and stop encouraging bad behavior. Organized labor, civil society organizations, religious groups, say, yeah, I'm sorry. They are calling out opposition. They are doing say, "Abai government in power. I, Yokotoaba, government in power. Yankee can't say mungu amoso. Yankee can't say. We can never solve this without calling out those thwarting the efforts of the states in dealing with the matter. Yen to me so no. Let's just say we are not looking for solution. If we fail to call them out, let's just say we are not looking for solution. Let's just say. Yan ya say yen chechire so aban aban responsibility aban asede ne so obeso so ano but say clearly if it is quite clear say in aban effort so obeso so ano no yenya challenges na sa challenges ne obvious in our face na say yanka ho se ne ejama aban ko aban ko ntumi nye. And that is why I am saying that whilst we call on government rightly so, mbra ye catcher aban ne kwan so adon say aban yen hwe kwa ye be fa so ye be say ye sapomu nsuo na ade yetumi asoso ano no. Sambre na so na ye hwe ekwan ye be fa so a ye ne omo aye akwansi kwan omo si kwa mu a omo sei niema ye no omo yi ase anwea ye no mo yi ase anwea no ye be hwe kwan ye be fa so ye no mbeka. Say aye ne side a let's just say genuinely no, our interest is not to fix the problem but to simply look for a scapegoat. Ghana ade ba ko nyankopon de ache yem pa ena ye efema godie good tete nyina ukọ the friend is saying certain areas are long before colonial masters yi buy on my way. In fact, and am ye go there you won't see and abrofo kroma dwe ye den e buy so you go there you won't see in your Gold Coast enti e ya dia se ye pew se ye mpew e ya dia ba ko nyankopɔ de ache ye ba ye ntumi ndi ekire na mfa nsɛi ade ba ko so ye hia pa e betumi age ye nyina ye nkwa madwi mu no niema mienu ni hu pa se nipa bia ehwerewa enframa ye home eni nsu aye nom eto bia kwom de okra to be sense wo nom na why okay ba wudidi na tramo na wenye nsu a wutumi afom ewu nti nsu onya de esi edi hu agro kra but o hwa over the years long before centuries before your colonial masters buy gold wo ho ye Ghana for ye gold ya na ye de koba ye didi edwa gold in someone na yetumi e de chiche ye man gold accounted for over 90% of minerals they export efi Ghana ha small scale mining nko a e man about 40%. But the question is answer na abe for beba no machines ni no whenever but na kwan be na e fa so a ye de ye gold in sem no clearly no ye woni ma ye de boaboa gold ano ni ade. In fact utie mpenifo mo se galamsey e kai kura no na brofa ne gather them and sell na be galamsey na nka no de ya kenkan de ehu na che se bebia omo mututu gold ni ade no ma ye wie no ase no na ye mame ne ye papa no makosa se gu pan mu na de omo ohoro kakra omo nye bia no makokoton no mapon ne ho kakra. But over the period ye koyenim nyina as oman no na ye say no na ye say no and in kakra we have gotten to the point where ye gold na nyankopɔ de che ye nse ye the question is that what has government done? What has been government's effort in fighting this? What are the successes? What has been the challenges? How do we as a people come together to support government to be able to fight this? A crime ben ye betumi aka ye ho abom as oman na ya ta aban echi na aban dia kontokoi because any galamsey ne man sisiye no enya ade a aban ko an betumi akon so oman ni nyina anta na echi a we fail without the backing and the support of the people. And that is why it's very, very important, extremely important, say, the clergy, the traditional authorities, civil society organizations, organized labor, say, no crap pass, say, you perceive your concern we are. What we have to do is not to just say, abide. No. What we have to do is to come together and support government in the fight against this canker. In the year 2011, and I did about say in a kind of say to the beer. You can't get saying one sem in 2024. If you money yet to say Ghana Hano, Nana Danko Kufa the bar Bemu 2017, and I got say shots here. And Nana Kufa the problem, not a your mind problem. It's the beginning of our difficulty in fighting it. Because you see, oh yes, sir, woman the end be political. No woman the pabonier for no mudi bono upon baby ate. Galamsey hunsem. Ebeye nsem pa kese pa wo my way mu as far back as 2010 2011. Omampeni Kufuor one and a Galamsey. Who was discussing Galamsey between 2000 and 2007, 2008. And yet we're doing small scale mining. And let me also quickly indicate, say, there's a big difference between small scale mining and illegal mining. Galamsey is illegal mining. Small scale mining and yet the same as Galamsey. Small scale mining and yet the same as illegal mining. There are a lot of companies in Ghana doing small scale mining in this country, doing it legitimately and doing it right. Ebimu employ 5,000 people. Ebimu employ 10,000 people. Almost 2 gold, you know. At the chichire or mine, 40% of your gold that you two on my way from small scale mining. It is small scale mining. Any Galamsey illegal mining. And you pay. And see, when we are dealing with the canker, say, you can't near my bonnet, a suma say, so by bonnet Galamsey, your man found kofra small scale mining. And you pay. Because there are people, but no can say, you may, your uncle phobia. Omo omayimua omo investi omusika edit boa etu mine underground omo asasena se etu kama ede boa eme ade chichiro mine no ade ne yede illegal mining ade bone small scale mine friend say Galamsey any small scale mine frafra ade ne ye ne te say eyendra 2017 2018 another danko Kufuor do ba abayimu in a small scale mining started here. I don't know ma ho kwan na adeboni esese ye ko ne yesoso ano prekope no ye ma ho kwan na yanom a politicize no na ma nipa boni efo no nyom ho omutie didim. Anytime we politicize some of these things, it affects the progress of this country. In the year 2011, 25th July 2011, floods, mills angered by harmful effects of Galamsey. 25th July 2011, Professor Mills, Nyankopon fa ne kran sie emayen. Ne buafu ewo ekwan Galamsey faswa essay ye friend saying yensase ene yemfu 2011. Na Kufuor do abemu. Ne NPP wa abemu. So clearly, say obi create impression chere say ase Kufuor do NPP aban no mon penifo ne ye Galamsey ntina Galamsey koswa. Then the person doesn't want a solution. The person is simply trying to hang something on Kufuor, so he will come to power. Nipa no pay to me. It's say Kufuor. Professor Mills, anyebia a brother Professor Mills complaining about Galamsey. Na omampeni dada former President Mahama yen advice no. Na Professor Mills da na to Galamsey na. Na omampeni dada Mahama ona no to Galamsey na. President Mills has expressed fury over the activities of illegal miners, popularly known as Galamsey operators, which he blamed for aggravating the flood situation in some parts of the country. Some districts in the Volta and eastern regions have been ravaged by floods that have so far claimed 5 lives, submerged several communities, destroyed farmlands, and displaced over 5,000 people. President Mills are all complaining about a kwanya Galamsey afaswa asensase and info in 2011, 25th July. Enti senei obi be create impression chere say oh na Galamsey dey dan ya dey wo ho na Kufuor do ne ba e na oni mpeni for ye we a. Tell the person that we are sorry. We have a social problem a person is solving. Enti say one man ye kwan yan solve sa social problem yi. Na wo de niam bi say be frebu a na wo ma ye dwuma na ayeden na wo ma solutions na ye pe no ayeden because you are simply calling for people to come and put out the facts of the matter which clouds the issue e kata nsem no so e man nsem na ye pese ye kanankasa ye den e ba bonten e say o man no Professor Mills 2011 25th July complaining about a friend is saying Galamsey. Politicians protecting criminals over Galamsey. Rollins, 2nd March 2015. Former President Rollins say, as at 2015, no. Now 2015, no. Omampeni dada, a friend is saying John Mahama and Newa Bemu. Former President Rollins say. Omu protect criminals over Galamsey. And then you have the same former president. Also ya pay to me biem. Ejina campaign plan ka say monto abamba ekufanti ekufado ono na ban ye galamsey na you were president. And ye me na maker. Former President Mahama Rollins and I pointed out how under John Mahama as president, Galamsey Koswa ono ene na ban e protection. What say that? Say NPP party do be kind say na Mahama na wotu Galamsey na. No, we don't do that. We don't behave that way. Yambo minds are our interest is for this wickedness of Galamsey to be ended. That is why we didn't jump into it in 2011, in 2015, in 2012, in 2013, in 2014, under Mahama's era. You don't get solutions. You can't fight a social canker like that. You cannot fight a social canker with a divided front. Obia in the effort to say social canker. Obey na do say ofuntum nyamemu a portion blame no oye nipa bone oye omanboy for there is some solution because at the end of a social canker e ade a ehye nipa ho body and nipa ad it we yes ape I say wo fie na mo wo ba wo fie na maame ne papa embre bia kwala ne ye bone a ne maame twa no to a na kwala na dwane na akwa ne papa oba da ne papa de na hye ne chi ne maame bebo no si jano o si o na kwala no wo so hwie so nugu wo si wo yen hwe de jano we yes akwala no o jai san kwala bonisem na odi ne da because embre bia no onim say dada wo honko ade a dada bebo ne ho ban and a lot of you are mo hwe be mo ya aware say yembe ya ye wo fie eto de bia akwala bi wo ho a anytime bia dada wo fie bia no o misbehave dada ni wa no waka na no atum adentia because onim say dada wo honko ade a obetumi ya de ope bia obi entumi nka hwe nche no. That is the whole essence of ensuring say you be keeping united front in the fight against Galamsey, no matter who. Because you see, a criminal, it has no colors. Whether you are NPP, you are NDC, you are CPP, you are traditional authority, you are a church leader, a bonny. And we must make sure say sabon no, you best so no. But in our efforts say you best so sabon no. Yen kai say, enkrofu bi wo ho and nipa bi wo ho. That is their way of life. Into a combination of niyama bebre, force, law enforcement, social reorientation. Say yeri nipa be kasa na yasan amomo adwen sachira ya chiro mo ekwan a niema omu ye e be affect your mabrabo. Ni nyina ka ho friend is saying dissemination of the dangers and challenges, dangers and risk Galamsey de mayen ekwan e be faso e be community nim ene o makasa na na wadaroma ono man for yesremo Galamsey yi se menjai na mkoso aye ni se ya nsuo ne se ya ye menye nsuo nware e de yare beba e de menye nsuo num e be ma hawo ne ade aba. It's all part of the process. At the same time no obi ye bone na hu na wache no na o man branding the di niam o mo de ya de it's a combination of so many things. But the biggest part of it is your social reorientation no. Because you see senka embra nkoa any law enforcement nkoa etumi ma deviance and I say deviant behavior say nkola bonesem efri oman biemu and society biemu a anka menyin say yebo am robber and yebo murder and bibi because a lot of people have been found guilty of robbery, murder and taken to jail, and yet every day you have people committing the same crime. Social reorientation, it's a social menace, a problem into a casa, a education, a enlightenment, and a law enforcement. Law enforcement isn't going to be fixing Galamsey. And can law enforcement to be fixing Galamsey? And can between 2017 and 2024, they are another damn quick for the new NPP Aboagye in the fight against Galamsey Keko. No government in the Fourth Republic has dedicated time and resources to fight Galamsey like Akufo-Addo has done. That is fact. You can disagree with me. You can say whatever I want to say, but facts do not lie. The numbers don't lie. The realities on the ground don't lie. No government has put in such effort like this government has done. However, law enforcement, friend says excavators, and cannot fix Galamsey. And that is why we need to come together as a people. Ye we nyina na eni nipa no so kasa. Na omo a omo hye nipa na chi a omo bo mu chi dom e hye omo kutupa no so no. Ye come wasem ye pom hontoma. But if we fail to call out these people who are enabling these people and omo show much using politics, we can never win this. You can do whatever you want to do to kick out friend is saying NPP simply because you want NPP out. But nobody can solve it when we don't stick together. Because again, to be solved, Galamsey no easily. And ka opposition for ne. Omodo manu tutum and command solve. Why didn't they solve it in 2011? In fact, why did they even allow it to start in the first place in 2011? Because it started under them. This kind of Galamsey that we are seeing started under the opposition NDC. 2011 all the way to 2015, 2016, they could not solve it. Almost solution in here. And yet, we are leaving them, we are allowing them to go scot-free, which is right. Because there's a government in place. But the government is simply saying that, please, we cannot do this alone. Law enforcement is not enough. And yeah, law enforcement now, yeah, social reorientation. Now, how are you expecting the government to win in this battle? And all of us, the media, the CEOs, everybody, government, which is right, which is correct. No problem about that. But look at this. I am yet to hear a single media person go and sit behind the console and say that and this is why I'm okay catch Galamsey in front of someone. Why are you telling them Galamsey? Not even a single person. How do we win this battle? Are you doing this so that we fix this, or you are doing this simply because you want to see the government out? Make a story we are quickly. According to Kweku Bako, Mr. Mahama and Branowa Beimu suspended the anti-Galamsey task force, which is set up to arrest illegal small-scale mining and prosecutors. At the end of his tenure in 2016, illegal small-scale mining had assumed alarming proportions, destroying the country's forests, polluting rivers, and degrading the environment. And today, you have the same person coming to tell you, say, NPP because of Galamsey. Under his government, that is when Galamsey, in this current form, started. Under his government, he could not fight Galamsey. In fact, he has not a single record of succeeding at fighting Galamsey. And yet, we have left him scot-free. In our non-mining communities in him, in our other politics, in our cultural. When people for no, omo pam say munjai Galamsey, montomame, beba mama ye Galamsey, omo fiho, omo bankra. Ladies and gentlemen, our river bodies are being destroyed. These NPP people are the one doing Galamsey, and they continue to destroy our river bodies. Vote against them. How do you intend to fight Galamsey? What is your record in fighting Galamsey? You were vice president. You were president. You had Galamsey at alarming rates under your tenure. How did you fight it? What was your effort? Simple task force I was setting up to fight Galamsey. You couldn't keep it. You couldn't succeed at it. You collapsed it. You suspended the task force. And then today, you have come back. And all of a sudden, you are talking as if you are coming from Mars. And that you've never, ever even had the authority in this country to fix this. Courts not helping fight against Galamsey activities. Ofoswan Pofo, 19 January 2011. This is the NDC putting the blame of their inability to fight Galamsey on the courts. This is the NDC putting the blame on the inability to fight Galamsey on the people. There was a report mapping the expansion of Galamsey gold mines in the cocoa growing area of Ghana using optical remote sensing. This is a report that was developed. And listen to what the report said, highlights. Or say, area of Galamsey has more than tripled from 2011 to 2015, from 10,907 hectares to 37,696 hectares. 2011 to 2015. Why would anybody create an impression, say, all of a sudden, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with all the effort, commitment is put in Galamsey? Of course, we haven't been able to succeed entirely in the fight against Galamsey. But we should never allow anybody to create an impression that Galamsey sprang up all of a sudden when the Akufo-Addo came to power. What is even more painful is how they put it. The entire year who galamsey because NPP for be galamsey. To the extent that me cry me fear not latte. I'm a table possible cry, say become galamsey. Simply because almost the year of politics. Meanwhile, this is a report not by government, an independent report that says that galamsey no between the year 2011 and 2015, and Brown Mampeni Mahama video Mampeni no galamsey epejaye from about 10,907 hectares to 36,696 hectares. Ewo cocoa growing areas. Galamsey affecting major rivers of Ankobra, Brim, and Numtano. In 2013, an estimated area of 551,496 hectares was affected by galamsey pollution. In 2015, galamsey encroached into at least 603 hectares of protected forest reserve. Obi TV America say, "Nasabona mo abemu, and na what can the NDC for?" I agree with you. Your responsibility, they say, we'll fight this canker and win it. But I'm bringing this up simply because the NDC is talking. Why not? Why shouldn't we bring it up? Now say nay, akaba 88 to say 87 days ekotwaba. NDC for led by the former president say yen twaba mani tuntia MP because of galamsey. So I need to show his scorecard. Of course, there are people who don't know this. There are people who are not aware of this. Why should we continue to fight a social canker in this manner? I am say a social canker. Eh, be munti ase. Moment have video we say nipa da se need to me to call no one pass no way to go. E wo no one pass here. How else would you call it other than a friend is saying a social canker? Yes, video wait here one bro. Nipa da seni onwa ni fie onwa bebi onwa ate a wotumi nya kokuduro se otu efie nim na what to go the fie mu a you don't allow anybody to play politics with such a situation because clearly no we need social reorientation for a lot of these people and you do not allow people to continue to do this in the name of politics. Say the part that said to me be enemy. No one can say call no one demu on one fear ko to say woman say or do you go there? It tells you how deep this galamsey situation is in this country. A social problem, one that we need to come together and fight, not one that we sit and do politics with. It is one that we fight together as a people. Enti say opposition party no eba ewia ebegina TV so beka say NPP form penim for na to go da na say one to boa say that we media man we CSO we religious leader we organize labor we follow chorus now. I'll be asking questions whether it is the canker you want to fix or you have another motive, because if the canker you want to fix, we have a real challenge and threat that we all need to come together and deal with. You don't fix a social canker when you have a divided front. Especially when the person speaking in opposition was president. And during his tenure as president, we had galamsey tripling. I am in America. This is not an NPP report. This is not a government of Ghana report. An estimated 551 hectares, 51,000 hectares of land was affected by galamsey pollution. 2015 in galamsey encroached into at least 603 hectares of protected forest reserve in this country. And then you have the communications officer of NDC sitting on Facebook and writing say, NPP for to be and fix galamsey in so number of days into they cannot fix it. This is your scorecard. This is your record. You did nothing. You did nothing. Absolutely nothing. You have no record at all in fighting the galamsey canker. This is something destroying the nation. In fact, if there is anything at all, and your political party are the ones who are in the forest. You are the ones who are deep in the pit, telling the people to mine and ignore the government. You the NDC, you former President Mahama, you and the comms officer, you are the ones who are in the pit, encouraging the people to mine. I gave you a quick example. Remember a quick example about the issue of Akola Otifie. Oye bonena ne mama kan no adwana question papa nche ne papa protect no. Office Akola Robert Sisa suban. Ye bre. Ye say o man sika. Ye de o man ahodi nyina ekon ade yi. Na wo nam pit nim na wo catch nipa no so mo ye galamsey. How are we going to be able to fix this? How are we going to be able to win this? How are we ever going to be able to win this? And then you are telling me that you're a media man, you haven't seen those videos, you haven't heard those videos, and I haven't seen you say anything about it. And I don't have to talk about it. I will talk about it. Whilst at the same time, I continue to work to fix it. That is how you build a state. If we don't talk about this as well, we'll never win the fight against Galamsey. Okay, I'm saying, one minister. A friend is saying from Paul Boateng or not the report by say NPP 4 year Galamsey near the I have insisted and I've said it here. Galamsey born is a crime. Illegal mining is a crime because it is illegal. Anybody involved, whether NPP, NDC or CPP, let the law deal with them. But no, we will not allow you to create an impression as if one, Galamsey is a creation of an NPP government. No, the NPP government is the one that has actually highlighted the Galamsey issues and introduced effort to fight the Galamsey issue. This is fact. We may debate its effectiveness, but we cannot take away the fact that this government has shown the energy to fight this Galamsey canker. Aban na ba I invest say in the fight against Galamsey. Now when they can say NPP for an NDC for an CPP for na Galamsey, Ghana for ni paboneye for na Galamsey. Whether you are NDC, MPP or CPP, the same from Paul Boateng report now I'm refer to now. We say na from Paul Boateng MPP for. Listen to what the same from Paul Boateng report said. From Paul Boateng say established miners who are members or sympathizers of the NDC. It is well known in the small-scale mining circles that NDC members and sympathizers were well established in small-scale mining, especially in the western region. They acquired several concessions in mineral-rich areas during the long periods of NDC reign. They had the money and other resources to not only sponsor NDC candidates, but also support independent candidates in the supposedly strongholds of the NPP. This is what happened in Evaluadura and Takwa constituencies. In Wasa East District, a former NDC deputy minister, who is also MP for Wasa East constituency, has been actively mining in the Subri forest for years. Subri forest for years. When NPP party officials complained and the army component of the Operation Vanguard was withdrawn almost 2 years to the 2020 election, the NDC was given an advantage in terms of access to resources from mining. Now, Okofa from Paul Boateng report was the NPP 24 years small scale mining. In terms of Galamsey, now with the paragraph now, Sase from Paul Boateng report says, "Oji tu mudia," and also kase mu kada mu established in the mining space no cross the NPP for we dey not one. And then you tell me that you would the paragraph na favor na beto abonten ba me no e ma me family dey na beto abonten. This is not the old NPP. This is the new NPP. We believe that every Ghanaian voter is discerning. Yen ye gidi say ene 2024 Ghana ni bi oto abebi adwemu to. Nti yeso ye wo ye chefa yasemo yeso ye beka yeso ye de betudwa. We are not timid. We believe that Ghana ni bi e wo man we mu eye discerning. So koto abanko ade a he needs to hear both sides of the stories. You want us to believe and take hook, line, sinker. Yenje Professor Frempong Boateng asem no ntumu prekope. Fine. And the Professor Frempong Boateng say NDC. Money penny for we are well established in the mining sector in the western region than any other person. So you are the ones doing the Galamsey in the western region. Do you agree? You disagree? Why? Because it goes against your party. It goes against your party. And I haven't heard any media person read this paragraph. They will only go and read the paragraph that talks about MPP people in small-scale mining, and then they will leave this side that speaks about NDC people well established in small-scale mining. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why? Why are we doing this to ourselves? And they don't want us to talk about it. How do we fix a social canker if we continue to play chaskele with the issue? Don't we realize, yes, sir, your money pani na kwatete, doma kwaswa ye bone no. We are the MPP NDC a, unhu say we yes sir, o mani pa bone for no enya kwantete. Ade yes sir. ade yesa wo kan ya yesa wo abemu ade na wo kasa ade na wo complain mo abemu na me kasa. Does it change the fact? Does it change the facts? Does it change the fact that between 2011 and 2015 Galamsey cost triple times than any other period? Does it change the facts? Why are we doing this to ourselves? 2011 Assembly came, 19 June 2012. 300 people died of Galamsey in 2011. It is Obedient Kache me say, and Galamsey and the Kufuado and ICICA. You are putting out falsehood. You are putting out falsehood. In 2011, in 2012, when the former president who is asking say Yensan to Obama mayor Mampeni because or no catcher and say Kufuado to be Uncle Galamsey or no. When he was vice president and president, 300 people died of Galamsey in 2011. 300 people, they died. Satana Galamsey, what did he do to fight Galamsey? What did he do to fight Galamsey? I didn't know your Mampeni between 2011 and 2015. Galamsey extra poor. I didn't know the task force and the bias almost fighting Galamsey no Ujaye. Why? I didn't hear. A Drew baby were my way, mono. Under the former president in the NDC. See, the ja. I am so angry when I saw the comms officer of the NDC write and say, where is that text? I think I should read that text first. Where is that text? Please look for that text for me. The part where the comms officer of the NDC posted on Facebook. When you guts, effrontery to go and write on Facebook say the NPP could not fight Galamsey in something number of years, and because of that, they cannot please. Where is that text? And there is no way they can fight Galamsey in the few days at Aka. And I ask myself, say, what effrontery? What effrontery? How dare you even come talk about this? When you were in power, that was when Galamsey started. This is him. If the MPP could not fight Galamsey in 2,805 days, that is since January 7, 2017, with Operation Vanguard, Galamstop, etc., they can certainly not fight Galamsey in 86 days, whether or not a state of emergency is declared. Ghanaians should simply declare a state of emergency on the NPP for destroying our water bodies, forest reserves and lands, and vote them out on 7 December. Dear Ghana, ladies and gentlemen, please, pardon me. But no crap say, Semestra no pardon me who say NDC communication officer betros as way. May you know. Semestra no pa, na me who say NDC comms officer betros as way. May you know. How dare he? How dare him even make a comment on Galamsey? Why can't I go far by? President Kufuor Breso mote Galamsey da. President Kufuor Breso mote Galamsey. Between 2000 and 2007, mote Galamsey da. Mona makofa at the boni we ababetre ya konso. Obampeni Rollins, mo akasa mo found that the be in ton. I have shown you. E catch and say, mo and I mo protecting Galamsey. Yes. That was in 2011, 2012. That was when you brought this canker onto us. Mo and I mo chichire sa Galamsey or how you better na your console. I can anima the crow. The animal say they are so etu fam ni etu gold kakra. Ya kwa boabo anwea na ahohoro kakra. Mo and I mo de gold a ye tu won so eba o my way mu. I have just shown you a report. Between 2011 and 2015, mo trepo Galamsey mo de akokoko mfom mo de asay no. How dare you? How dare you? This is your former minister. Can I get the where I got to? My former minister, what's his name? Mahama Yariga, speaking and telling us about how they think. Please bring back Mahama Yariga's thing for me. Telling us about how or no Mahama Yariga no environment minister na Sambreno. Yet they are shedding say ombwa ne yenko Galamsey no or say I have given up. I have given up. Mahama Yariga say I have given up. News in brief. Minister gives up on fight against illegal mining. Wants a new approach. September 19, 2016. Environment Minister Mahama Yariga says it is time for government to regularize illegal mining. Illegal small-scale mining. Tio. The minister Sami Jemfina and ne Ocho Facebook say, "Yen to bentia MPP because we want to Uncle Galamsey. Yen for no, and na buy mbrano. And yen greed. And yen greed. And the political experience. How dare you even make that comment? wo mona moko fa asade we nyina be so ye ko na ye pe solution na mo akasa mo go so toto mu abo no. How dare you even make that comment? This is your minister, the man who was responsible under your government to help us get a solution to Galamsey. Or say, it is time for government to regularize illegal small-scale mining. And your NDC for can mean say you're regularizing illegal activity. And your NDC for and can mean that say we regularize illegal activity. This is the NDC minister telling us that we should regularize illegal small-scale mining. Or say, Mahama Yariga says attempts to halt illegal mining activities have not yielded the desired results because wherever there is mineral resources, people will do everything and whatever it takes to be able to extract those resources. The admission comes more than 3 years after the government set up anti-Galamsey task force in May 2013 to clamp down on the practice. President John Dramani Mahama, who inaugurated a 5-member interministerial task force to fight the menace, named as chairman then Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Alhaji Inisa Hussein Nyomomo Keka. This is your scorecard. You, the comms officer of the NDC, writing things that you have no idea about. This is your scorecard. When you were in government, I'm sure that time you were in school, and that's what they did. When your government, which you are seeking to be part of the next one, when your flag bearer was president, and you set up a task force to fight Galamsey that your government brought upon us as a country, when you were in government, this is your scorecard. Mo minister now, you're the sharing in such a own share, near fighting Galamsey, or say he has given up. Now he is recommending, say, yema illegal mining, illegal, no, yem mining yet regularized. We should regularize illegal mining for the people. And then you have the effrontery, the guts to go on Facebook and go and write to say, this government could not fight Galamsey in Tiemkutiano. What is your record? Your government's record in fighting Galamsey? You first of all brought Galamsey upon this country. One hour the Galamsey, one hour buying, and the Galamsey bow my way so. Ghana ni beyond trying to name nechi. Nenko beside no say, on man penny kufa bresone wa de be friend Galamsey yana. Your government brought Galamsey upon us. For 80 years in office, your government had no solution to Galamsey. This is your government's scorecard in the fight against Galamsey. Your government gave up on Galamsey and actually told us as a country that we should regularize Galamsey. This is what your government did. And you have the effrontery to go and write on Facebook, say, vote against NPP and bring back NDC. You are joking. Galamsey worsened in 2010 and water pollution increased. The quality, this is 17 February 2016, MDC Abain. The quality of Ghana's water bodies have deteriorated remarkably after 2010 following the game-changing introduction of heavy machinery in mining on riverbeds. So listen to this. Game-changing introduction of heavy machinery in mining on riverbeds. Game-changing use of the machines has turned many water bodies into milky, silted streams of water that is difficult to purify. This is a canker that is eating us up as a country. And we don't have to politicize it. But you see, when you have the comms officer and the propaganda secretary of the NDC writing on Facebook and politicizing it, we have no option than to show the Gen Zs who were 10 years old, who were 8 years old, when this government was in power, what they did. It's only fair. CSOs, media, traditional authority, it's fair. It's only fair that we also say our side of the story. Because we have young people who are going to cast their votes and may cast their votes on the wrong impression. Let's all show our scorecard. Your government, your minister said he has given up. And your minister recommended, say, we should make illegal mining regularized. 2016, when you were in government, the report by Joy News indicates, say, you have introduced game-changing heavy machinery in mining on riverbeds. You and your government, you brought machines into the riverbeds in this country. But for you, and your mo anyone buy NDC and Ghana ha, ye nimu say the machine seems so to mining. This is in the report on my Enjoy Online. You and your government introduce it. And you say what? We should vote for you back into government to come and do what? Fix something that you brought upon us, for which you had time to fix and you couldn't fix. And there Yakra say, or car, on can sample, or say, I'm going to rent 20 or no from Umbra. What is wrong with you? You think Galamsey is a joke? You think the social can was we say are going to the other? In comfort, lives are at risk. That's what we are trying to fix. Sit somewhere with your politics. Sit somewhere with your dirty politics. And let allow the state fix this thing that is destroyed us. Kope bitina. Kope bitina krane jai ni en fix it. And ya woni en this yabaya. And kagana ha. Ye nima de friend Galamsey e won suo so. Ye nima de kro. And ye dem say ye Galamsey. But ye aso. And the pickers. And the ye ade. Woni wa ban and the Galamsey ben suo so. Emma mo find out Rollins. And kasa bi en no to say oh ko ma ya ma na bro so. Empo at the end say, you know, this is a 2016 report that says that Galamsey na mayama water bodies are done into milk. In Suyensuono, I had to say milk. And then we see under your government in 2016. We came into office with this situation. And we came in to try to solve a problem that you brought upon us. And you have the effrontery to sit on Facebook and write anything you want. Because about to us. Abai no power or ye there or no and enema nyina ekotiano intime so mintutu mu anyampia. Why enya mu anke ma de kro. Yeah, 2014 March 17 Ghana to import water soon. Ghana's potential importation of water from neighboring countries seems to be at hand. Or it's not rosy on the side of the fence and it's maybe time water importation is considered. Ghana is no desert country, but certain unfortunate events may be overtaking us. In fact, how could anyone even think of this? This is during the NDC era. This is 2014. Let nobody lie to you. Let nobody make you think that Galamsey and our illegal money higher person no. No. Ekufuado and his government rather are trying to find a solution to a problem that was created by the NDC. Let it be put on record. Until the NDC came to power in 2009, we knew nothing about Galamsey on river bodies. The evidence I've just shown to you. When I did way buy a crown and some pay solution, went to me, or minister we give you up, and you do bit to me, Akosan Tokwa with you. Interbaya illegal, I didn't hear illegal, no, you regularize it. That is the recommendation they made the government. And you have an infantry to come and tell the people of Ghana, say, this is your scorecard. 10 Galamsey operators buried alive. This is your scorecard. Stop Galamsey now. This is your scorecard. Another Galamsey tragedy, 12 trapped to death. This is your scorecard. On 5th June 2013, 169 Chinese miners were arrested in Ghana's gold mining Ashanti region. These arrests followed Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama's decision to put an end to illegal mining by foreigners. Utumi puti an end and Eswedei. Omo kasa te say embra na oyo mampeni wa ban mu no na ye ni bibi e friend illegal mining na ye ni bibi e friend Galamsey. In fact omo to be kasa man ye te say kufo no wakwa China no wakwa sasa China for good plane mu no de omo ba Ghana. This is the NDC in power in 2013. China and Ghana to work harder on tackling illegal mining. Ghana to import water soon. 13 Guineans, 16 Ghanaians arrested over Galamsey. Anti-Galamsey task force resumes operation soon. Massive distraction. When na eye niema ekoso under former President Mahama. This is how the situation was when we came to office. And then you have these people still about office in 2017. That is when we encountered this challenge. And the Akufo-Addo said that we have to make sure that we put an end to a canker we came to meet. Akufo-Addo's first statement of Galamsey was made in 2017. Clearly, that is evidence enough to tell you that it was a major issue before 2017. All Akufo-Addo has sought to do is to bring a solution to this major issue that we came to meet. Why are we trying to destroy it? Why is the media not talking about it? Why are the CSOs not talking about that? I agree, say, clearly, no, their understanding is that when our be to fix it, I am with them 100%. But I'm only saying that we can only fight a social canker together. No government can fight a social canker with a divided front. And so if we're going to win this fight, and if your objective really is to work in ensuring that we fix this there, then call out all the people who are doing this, because they are enemies of the state. The government is putting in so much, the government is doing so much, and anybody involved in this is a criminal. And none of these people should be allowed to go scot-free. And the opposition party should stop going into the mining areas and telling them, say, nearby, galamsey. Almost twice yes, and many panin the abino air canoe because already say Abroswa in Bosomi and Sa now near the moment by a quine galamsey na day. Abba. Ye buy ya beto Sanyama Wina, Yansana. Immediately in a Kufa to make his statue. I don't know if we have the video where Kufa do spoker. If we have that video, please let's play that video. Shall Kufa the video? This was in 2017, and this is evidence that clearly, this canker was there at the time Ekufa do era beimu. Where your evidence? I say Ekufa do air bar beimu no. My tome boss the match chemu bedu sambe mu say answer Ekufa do beba beimu. Ne wo galam say canker. Let's listen to what Ekufa said in 2017.
You know that the activities that they're involved in are jeopardizing the very survival of our nation. I took the decision that would be a betrayal of the trust that the Ghanaian people put in me on the 7th of January this year. And as a result, we established this committee within the government to design a policy for us, not just to stop it, to reclaim the land, to let our rivers work again, but also to see how we can figure a way for all these able-bodied young men who are involved in this activity to find an alternative livelihood. So it's a package. It's a package that we have designed to try and bring this menace to a conclusion. I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps this is the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter. I've heard it being said that I should be careful. Many of these people voted for me, and if I continue this exercise, perhaps they will not vote for me again. You know that the activities that they're involved in are jeopardizing the very survival of our nation.
Was not to sort to say and this is for David. It was simply to make a case, and it was a very important key point that necessarily making to show you say the hypocrisy, the inconsistency. Or my to say or what which you see which you send a baby and the events I won't pay once someone. No why you come me na natural more like say or be or not to sana now put on what cow. The more you kuma and the hukuma no brand with Sanoko. Sunday this for Babe, or much you come, you who the fire one year. Now, no for the bar Bemu 2017. It was clear, say, Galamsey was a major headache of this country. So he or the Tono also said, it couldn't be a befast why Yebeko Galamsey and Tokon Yebeko. That should be put on record. And I've demonstrated it up to this point. I feel, yeah, for the bar Bemu, what he has done to ensure, say, you're either maybe brave and on a friend is saying painful in common. To the boss any consultations or to the boss making sure say regions on the regions in the building common on nanu shia on the MMDC is akasa on the mining communities no shia edin common apekwa ebe fa so ye de sa Galamsey insemi ebe koso or introducing online application for small scale mining licenses say na be ya application ebe to me aye friend say easy na ye a bit more transparent. Why establish a control room a tracker earth moving equipment into machines here your friend is saying you need to family a day or the tracker munti a co baby or be say a co baby retooling of inspection directorate and then minerals commission what retooling or minerals commission is regional offices almost district offices near the care council the bay more jumano or monitoring near the easy why establish minerals development unit geological investigations of blocked out areas, establishment of community mining schemes. Community mining schemes here, they a lot of the mining communities are nipani be a normal year galamsey. Don't wanna at least I don't want to share community mining schemes more when you BBI. Into ye near free way. Ye into me so but at least we have something to show that this is what we have put in place over the period. I buy a cotton 100 mercury free gold processing equipment. I did quite higher pile of gold processing in say na mercury no a friend swollen fras asena a cause problems by enter buy ankasa a feska e de cotton 100 of machines and no use mercury I the processing gold at the bar or my mining communities no a bank of a speedboat a boa and na munsuo no so e hwe say obi ye nsuo no so bone ni ade a ebe to me aye free or a bank set up alternate livelihood project and I said the friend light national alternate employment and livelihood program me constituency Kapim North oko akwate akwaso a rich plantations wo ho are buying through the land commission and the ministry of lands and natural resources and the alternative livelihood program aye big nursery omu provide seedlings emma mining areas no baby ansase na say baby a omu pese omu ye money aban sem dabi munjai mining monje na mundua na mundi nduaba na ewo no whilst they are doing that no aban bo mo ekwan bebre so it's the government has put in a lot of effort to create an alternate livelihood for these mining communities. Aban I establish geological investigations and my can and once already. Community mining schemes aban recruitment of river wardens obo mo boa ehwe efe ne sen insuo no so aban 100 mercury free gold processing equipment aban de aba aban e the speedboat aye the fighting galamsey e wo nsuo no so aban introduce aban e the drones enam aye tumi fa wie mu hwe de ekoso wo nsuo no so aban de aba aban a prosecute illegal miners. In fact se wo pe obi pa wa prosecute illegal miners aban a prosecute illegal miners e wo man we mu a na dan kwaku fo ado aban community mining schemes me no ka say a free 2021 equal 2024 25 legal community mining schemes I cover about 3,574 acres 149 concessions and are buying I establishing out of that 84,000 jobs direct jobs any 31,400 indirect jobs totaling about 115,400 jobs and are buying a created through community mining schemes. What this simply means, they say, but for a buying community mining schemes or the aba, or the mercury free machines yaba, my communities here, I can come here mining, omo free more and then omo community mining, omunya still omo the omo pay, a day omo passion for, no mo say be free mono. But for that, this 115,000 people would also be in the pits and the river bodies. So yes, ye ni free way, ye omo free. A friend is saying. A crime bonus here, but we have records to show. Say anya hwe krampo no 115,000 bidie. Omo jai niema boni ananka na kan no mo ye no. Ai ne omo boa na mo ye safe mining. Na stella dia omo passion wo no metumi ye but omo ye no kwan paso. This is not to say it's a problem no call. But anya hwe krampo no. This government has a scorecard 115,000 of people who could or would have been in illegal mining are helping to actually fix this friend is saying helping in community mining schemes. Community mining schemes are buying lunch here. You be do no across these communities and medical account as infoni bidie and ranty any bidomo show omo overall adan kwame community mining esunafo community mining Kenya say community mining and amediachi river wardens here make omuni and you know omoni nam nsuo no so a omoboa ahwese ye betumi e de asoso sa nipa bone fo mo ya de hye esumase obi kan say na mo se mo de we nyina aba mo de river friend say warden aba mo de speedboat aba adenti na stella ni galamsey no ekoso pa mo chewo police for be wo man we mi Ghana be bia be fe bia police station ho ko bia police station ho ko no ejai nipa bone fo eja bone di clearly obi ye body a ye body no oye into what you do ni say continuously no what the strategy in the system be ba what the brain ase But to say what the way in Aba, I didn't say like Galamsey Koso is quite unfair. Because your police station baby and so still like Jumre Ubi Bobby Chrono. Does it mean it's a police station in Guno? No. It means that it's a police phone a day in Sakrine near Ahodo Eba, no mutumidi improve your safety. And the same thing applies to the river wardens and the speedboats at Ewo Galamsey. So first batch of 300 river guards begins training at Eastern Naval Command, September 24th, 2022. And all these river wardens, Omejuma Nesa Ombeboa, no Mashe, no man 1919 so na obi ka say na mo the river board number na e ba ne say na still like Galamsey Koswa me pa mo chew. Is it not a fact that we have introduced river wardens on the river bodies? I don't know a fact. The other question is what we have done so far has it been able to fix every challenge on the river bodies? Not entirely so, but at least we have evidence that and nipa 115,000 be and come back where Galamsey in the year omo free ho and the omo community mining schemes are omo safely across these mining communities. Machines they buy 100 mercury free machines. The question is that no cre say the 100 mercury free machines aba Independence Square ni machines in Eguwe no cre say the 100 mercury free we friend is saying schemes aba Nana Danko Kufuado and a friend is saying Lands and Natural Resources Minister in the World Freedom Parker almost share my commissions are machines. Ain't no cre say the machines naba no cre say some machines bois reduce the use of mercury in the processing of gold. It hasn't taken away every problem, but it is a fact say aba, and it is a fact say uko communities, mining communities in one almost the year juma, and that for me is a very important point and a very important case to make. Procurement of speedboats to fight Galamsey, and a fact say speedboats naba, and no cre say speedboats no one soon as what eboa and the fight Galamsey. That is a fact that we cannot run away from. And they say obi be catcher will say and almost somebody way I no cre say they are, but it hasn't been able to solve everything. It hasn't been able to fix the challenge entirely as we want it to fix. Number of persons free 2021 ya convict you any number of cases pending, number of the offenders saying statistics any offenders say prosecutions is all here. That is a fact. It doesn't change the fact that we still have challenges, but it is a fact that government has made these major interventions in our fight against Galamsey, and nobody can take it away. It is about putting in all these efforts. Now, sorry, Adopa. Now, who say the propaganda secretary of the NDC, Abetro say, Yantua Benti NPP Yantumomwa, and then you ask yourself, hey, Ubitro was here. Gentlemen, be or yes, I posted a gentleman Abetro say, you think all of us have short memories, right? Actually, that is what the NDC think. The NDC thinks say you know short memory. Into omu to be true de ompebia ka de ompebia. Omu de ane say about one braso no nko ade yenka de epebia na yenko e baby. But this is 2024. Ye ma onka de opebia na onko baby. Yen anye hwe krampo no ye gitum say we came to meet the Galamsey kanka that wo NDC John Mahama ne wa ban mo de baye, and we have made efforts and shown through several strategies here they fight kanka no wakasa kwa ucho bi wom. The question is you and your government are introducing Galamsey no you gave up. Mo minister that can verbatim emphatic say we give you up na nkebe tumi a yen regularize illegal ade dey illegal no yen regularize no ewo on my way mu enti nobody is going to sit down keep quiet and allow you to throw dust obetum future Google na fuani enne wakwacho on Facebook say from January 7 2017 to now ye to me anko Galamsey enu to mutu abetiaye Ghana for ladies and gentlemen, I am going to show to you one of the key reasons but omuntie me ye me choose me words ni ye one of the key reasons why the fight against Galamsey has become difficult. The reason is simple. Galamsey no apart from the fact say with the police for any soldier for back bo nipa chi nipa to ma prosecute omo no e ya de nipa no e ho no mote omo edidie mu no mo bibia omo de enu no munim enti that's what they love to do. So at every point in time we use force ni bibia no na e kasa kire ene kasa de na se o aban a why Sanya Maya Maboboy swing strategies are introducing machines ediaba, community mining schemes ediaba, river wardens ediaba near danger, who are buying or the Sanyama way in Aba, Operation Galam Stop, Operation Halt, ye the Naba, Yashe excavators, Yachenko Fuegum, you are prosecuting your more, you say strategy BI you can think of Aban with the Aba, ye the drones Aba, and Namuium still Nipane Galam says simply because your political party beer. And bra on mine yen na ya ka ye ho abomu a ye say yen ka ye ho bomu ne yen ko galamsey no omo de esa ne vote bi a omo expect wo galamsey site ho nti na omo akọ nti ewia omo bankan a na wo be ka NPP they need to fight galamsey, they are not doing enough to fight galamsey, their people are involved in galamsey, it is the NPP before no mo ko galamsey eni ade mo ma yen tie their NDC for omo ko galamsey pets mu mining communities anymore. Omo catch Ghana for me wo videos mako miensa. Bako eye NDC Deputy Communications Officer. On a parliamentary candidate wo area nim. And Mr. Tony Obena na under NDC Oye Minerals Commission boss. Omo ase omo san ba be mu bi mu a ono an obese ya Minerals Commission as Mineral Commission boss. Na mo san so ahwe another video a on mampeni dada nankasa. Eja ho ebe no mu ton se omo di bone no ya chi omo no oba obeji omo no mo me hwe videos we ye ba ne abeto ankomodie no so
na ne tafa ase no ma wo bia sisi amohu no ha no obehunu se the land in the city obeka na meboa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no and say ya wo ho e de mam because no na beta akotena ho se de be ya yenu anu mo bre o mo ya dwuma che kakra musu be nya sa asini bi na so jasa e de machine si to ase wa ma a obekọ akọ na so de aba be ya dwuma na so do krom no nko ko so ayede e di hie enti wo kwa akoto aba no a e John Dramani Mahama e tu da Anthony Obin ono ana John Dramani Mahama so man na so meke ho ona ne tafa ase no ma wo bia sisi amohu no ha no obehunu se the land in the city obeka na meboa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no and say ya wo ho e de mam because no na beta akotena ho say de be ya yenu anu mo bre o mo ya dwuma che kakra musu be nya sa asini bi na so jasa e de machine si to ase si wa ma a obekọ akọ han na so de aba be ya dwuma na so do krom no nko ko so ayede e di hie enti wo kwa akoto aba no a e John Dramani Mahama e tu da
Ezu Yaba Omo chi omo galamsey no omo atu omumu yaba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba Ezu Yaba Omo chi omo galamsey no omo atu omumu yaba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba Ezu Yaba Omo chi omo galamsey no omo atu omumu yaba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba Ezu Yaba Omo chi omo galamsey no omo atu omumu yaba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba
ona ne tafa ase no ma wo bia sisi amohu no ha no obehunu se the land in the city obeka na meboa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no and say ya wo ho e de mam because no na beta akotena ho say de be ya yenu anu mo bre o mo ya dwuma che kakra musu be nya sa asini bi na so jasa e de machine si to ase si wa ma a obekọ akọ han na so de aba be ya dwuma na so do krom no nko ko so ayede e di hie nti wo kwa akoto aba no a John Dramani Mahama too direct Dr. Anthony Obin ono ana John Dramani Mahama so man na so meke ho na ona ne tafa ase no ma wo bia sisi amohunu wa ha no obehunu say the land in the city obeka na meboa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no and she say ya wo ho e de mam because ono ana besa akotena ho say de be ya yenu anu mo bre o mo ye adwuma che kakra musu be nya sa ase ni bi na so ya sa e de machine si to ase si wa ma a obekọ akọ na so de aba be ya adwuma na so do krom no nko for so eden e di hie enti wo kwa akoto aba no a John Dramani Mahama too direct Dr. Anthony Obin ono ana John Dramani Mahama so man na so meke ho na ona ne tafa ase no ma wo bia sisi amohunu wa ha no obehunu say the land in the city obeka na meboa after on the 11th that way on the 7th no and she say ya wo ho e de mam because ono ana besa akotena ho say de be ya yenu anu mo bre o mo ye adwuma che kakra musu be nya sa ase ni bi na so ya sa e de machine si to ase si wa ma a obekọ akọ na so de aba be ya adwuma na so do krom no nko for so eden e di hie enti wo kwa akoto aba no a John Dramani Mahama too direct
Ezu Yeba Omo chi omo galamse no omo atu omumu yeba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba Ezu Yeba Omo chi omo galamse no omo atu omumu yeba ma omo amnesty no omo asaba
How do we fight? Moambosha, how do we fight this canker? Say abai edin hihye egu fam. Na yedi sojafo ekọ communities mu na yedi ye kache omo ye galamsey so bunjai. Na opposition for e bankran ya. Omo better radio so kache Ghana for nyina say yes say NPP for na say nsuo say kwaye no. No mu wia no ma fesuma se no ma combining community o kan say mon ye galamsey. Mo ti da kwaku ban kan no. Oni Tony Obin. Tony Obin na NDC ambre so no ye head of Minerals Commission. Kwaku Buahi ankasa bie na no kache to e kache miners ne say so mo ba be mu bie mu a o mu nya kwan ba be mu bie mu Tony Obin na be Minerals Commission na o show mo bo say oba edwuma we obemo mo akoso aye na MPP of Tata omo ntomo nto abentia MPP na 7 December ye bobo abani wie na say NDC ewini a omo nyina ansa mra no mo edwuma na Tony Obin de nani ehu abehu asase nto no abetwetwa asase na yeden amomo. And then when you do this and you tell the people these things, that's a we be catch ye say yen Ghana for yen twa bama wo NDC and the communications officer of the NDC has the guts to write on social media say yen twa banti MPP yen to momo yen to bamo na mo matani Obin be Minerals Commission boss na mo Ghana for na omo ye mining na ye chi omo no enko ensan ko ye mining na sa wo kokka say che na ebeye den ena sa ban e de aban state resources ekoko from kotranse na otu omo for betie koko efom no mugye yo anya bi omo mugye mu hu MPP penin bi wom omo mutu mine ni omo bom nsem yi mo hu MPP penin bi wom enya NDC peninfo kwaku boy Tony Obin NDC peninfo ena egira ho na e ka tro omo say omo nje omo mining na omo forget MPP na MPP for the soldier for Tata omo na omo de omo ba omo mo kwan omo ayo mining. Why do we have everybody quiet on this video? Why are the CSOs not playing this video? Media houses, why are they not playing this video? How can government alone win this fight when you have such an opposition? Nasa aban kono ni omo kasa. Nasa omo ti ase. Nasa opposition force come na so no mo koyese tromo. How do we solve such a problem? Enye we nkwa o. Ebi omo fi say one off. Ebi o dakru bi pe na kwaku bo ahin ko pie mu wo ho. Moment say the same kwaku boy on the parliamentary candidate of the area. Moment video we any the omo catch the Ghana for omo ye minding FI MPP ho ɛne ɛkwan ɔmo fa so ɔmo hyɛ ɔmo nkura sɛ ɔmo kwa so a ɛyɛ galamsey mo mɛhwɛ video wei mbra
and I do not hear no and another vanguard for no that over. And the prayers are crackers say, Yatua Baria, Mubesha, vanguard in Mukina. Yayan say, am I by when the good man? And you know, Muya Jumani, Peter was 2 time. One for the Mabusia for now, make sure about him like Poma, John Dramani Mahama. Yadia Womuni. Yenim say na me bo amande na eto abano yenim say honest for be kasa yenim say dum be ko srem dum be ko be bebre so mko so be so be to abawa here inti na ne ka say after by Friday omu breaki mo na obi antumi enya pepeye no ntumi antumi fa na busuafo na Monday ni duru a nyina ye de ekoto aba ye to aba ni wie enye say ye ko ye bet na wo ama wa bobo aba na wie na ye galamsey ko ye make sure say aba na ya to ama na na yi Mahama no ye tumi akan na Mahama ye de di ntumi na ye to aba ni wie on the 7th on the 8th on the 9th ye bo aba na Mahama ye wini na mumra mbe ye boduma obi a me
I don't know. Send a pay for no 80 kind. Send a money no, Mr. Namia Galamtini. And now, Mekano, Yamiadum. This is Yami Buana Mutama John Dramani Mahama. Namutama Abubakar Sadika. Namuti said, John Mama Adim Kunim. I got a Adim Kunim. That's the difference one. Muya Majuma. Namu Soja, you will have so a Katama. Muti who. Wait, you pay for this. If you are Tremo, Humayan to Abano, never more you won't buy. Vanguard no Omunguno. Vanguard no Edaso. About 20 more my day. In my money, I who come on a Vanguard day. Oh, if you are Tremo, your Dutch about on a day. Yes, I'm going to get a massy. Let's go Shramo. Okay, Obianya too sure. Yes, and I'm right, no. And I no pay, and no call Manswabia. I saw the Galamsey, why not you born of the Bunu? Ono say 2 about 4 years media Jumano, Yanke who say to me. I made to say because of Yaba Tuaba, and a woman for watching the union, he said, Yantunia de Yan Pepper Juman Galamsey, Ghana Betu Galamsey. And I Jumana Yan on Susia in another vanguard for no that over. And the prayers are crackers say, Yatua Baria, Mubesha, vanguard in Mukina. Yayan say, am I by when the good man? And you know, Muya Jumani, Peter was 2 time. One for the Mabusia for now, make sure about him like Poma, John Dramani Mahama. Yadia Womuni. And him say, Namibu Amande and Equabano. And no side honest for Becata. And him said, Dumbaco, Slim, and Dumbaco, Ribebre, some Kosovo, about here. Until I know after by Friday, Omubrekimo. Now, Obian to me, Enya Pepeye, don't to me, and to me for the Busia. Now, Monday, you draw, then I had there for 12. But you have 2 about the and they say, for your bet now. I'm a Baba Navy, and I am safe for a make sure. Abana Yatwama, Mahama, yet to me a kind, no Mahama, I did. On the 7th, on the 8th, on the 9th, the Baba Mahama, Mumramba, I don't know. Send a pay for no 80 kind. Send a money no, Mr. Namia Galamsey.
It was therefore. We any equa ye warm is a betri so a war my way more ye no more ADC. NDC penning for parliamentary candidates, national officers, senior members of the NDC, Semino Kasa Nadwi, and in the mining communities, catch them say, Nanado Danko Kufodo NPP are buying same Weduma. Na politics ebeto galamsey. Yen tinase na NPP are buying say galamsey eduma. Na ono parliamentary candidate no. Omu nyina nim se edwuma yi enu bia no ye na o show mo bo se to aba ni wie na se Mahama wini a omu nyina mbra no mo maye o madwuma na galam stop na nanado ye ne Vanguard no onjai na njai china na de tie ne se wakra nanado wakra cars dodo kra se aba be council de mesojafo na sojafo na be tata omo ewo omo mining pit mu eni to mo to abentia nanado danko ekufuado se de be ya do Mahama beba na da ya be bobo se do Mahama e win elections no omunya bobo ya obi emre no obi ambe na dwuma. This is the NDC. CSOs, religious leader, organized labor penny, traditional authority. Se one can video we ho asem a me can't check Ghana for say galamsey how you haven't done a press release on these videos. Don't tell us say you are worried about galamsey. Before you get worried about galamsey, or you tell us you are worried about galamsey, let us see you write and condemn this. How do you fight such a social canker when you have such obstacles? And then we know, say, as we speak, in the mining communities, the NDC are moving around, and they are telling them, say, no, do tata. Then the same NDC will come to Accra and come and write such. But their propaganda secretary say, we are not fighting galamsey, so we should vote for them. When these same people are in the pits, encouraging the people to continue to mine illegally and destroy our forests and water bodies. Omo people monim. Omo say omo share the NPP for netre. Okaya kai say omo nim site owners no. Into omo the site owners na kokasa. No omo nyina akwan no mo tibi akoye akoto aba etia nanado. Na ye to aba ni wie bobo wie ya no omo mbra no omo meye omadwuma. Na we ya ban na say wo obstacle say in an opposition party. Na so obia condemn omo, obia nkasa ntie omo, obia huru omo say de omo ye den ya. How are you going to succeed? The same people who brought galamsey in this current form on us in 2010-2011. The same people who gave up on the fight against galamsey and said say they are rather recommending say you regularizing illegal mining no. These same people today are telling the mining communities vote against Nanado because Nanado fighting galamsey. Omu wi no manso abeka wakra say Nanado is not fighting galamsey. So they go to the mining communities and tell them that Nanado is fighting you and destroying your source of livelihood. Vote against him. Then they come to Accra, no makache and crime for and say Nanado is not fighting galamsey. You have this video and you are a civil society organization. You are organized labor. You are religious leader. We are traditional authority. Now one can video one some and release this statement into your video where don't come and tell us that you love the you are fighting against galamsey because no single citizen has demonstrated the commitment to fight galamsey than Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo. Nanado suffered political losses simply because he was fighting against galamsey. Mining communities say what Ghana henyina Nanado lose votes simply because he's fighting against galamsey. How do you come and tell me say Nanado is not fighting against galamsey when he's losing in these communities because he's fighting against galamsey? How do you win the fight against a social canker when you have the biggest opposition party enabling these people to continue to mine in unsafe ways and illegal ways like they are doing? And then you come mining areas now. Omo bebre they are told me say oh NDC for say omo ba omo ya galamsey. Inti no 3 months ye chi utum kra 3 months member sisi ya na NDC for bana yaba be galamsey. The former president who is asking say yento abama no ebie na no ton kan say so no be o mampani a obi a wa galamsey ya chi ne bia obegya no. Mo hwe video no obi a oye galamsey ya chi ne bia obegya no pacho mo size embo sa video de ma me biem. We want to hear.
Yeba omo chi omo galamsey no ɔmo ato ɔmo mu yɛbɛma ɔmo amnesty na ɔmo asaba ezu yɛba ɔmo kyi ɔmo galamsey no ɔmo ato ɔmo mu yɛbɛma ɔmo amnesty na ɔmo asaba
ɔmampanin dada na ɔde galamsey baa yɛ na brɛ so baa ɔman wei mu in this form 2010 a wentumi asoso ano a ɔno ani mpanimfoɔ ɔpa wɔn mu sɛ ɔmo mboa ne yɛn kuntia galamsey no sɛ ɔmo apaaba ɔmo ntumi nyɛ nti nkebetumi a anka galamsey na yɛ adebɔne no mpo nka yɛn regularize no ɔse nipa bɔneyɛfoɔ ɔmo di bɔne a yɛakye ɔmo atum no so ne ba a ɔbɛgya ɔmo nansi ya ɔyɛ media engagement obi bisa ɔsi o ai media mɛgya ɔmo because me gidi sɛ akasefoɔ na ɛwɔ mu no campaigns no ɔmo nenam ɛna nketenkete na yɛakye ɔmo na yɛ bia mpawkye o ɛna nwumre yi sɛ am robber ɛkɔ wie obi na police fo kɔkye na police fo bisa ne sɛ wo boss ɔsoma ɔwɔ he na sɛ ɔkyerɛ ne boss na ne yɛgya no ne yakɔkɔkye ne boss na what kind of leader is this former president? What kind of leader is the former president? Say, omo ye bone, ena mbra atwe omo aso ena ya che omo. Ba me ba me ja omo e mo makoye omo galamsey. And then you have civil society organization, you have traditional authorities, you have organized labor, you have trade unions, writing and attacking the government only without picking on this. You don't love this country if you continue this. One door mine one person ebe end galamsey sa woto aso yese ya because clearly no aban eye na femu de even though aban betumi aye bi aka ho nti ye prese ye betumi aye dodo no se won kan NDC fo ne me ya maboache we ne ho asem a don't present yourself to Ghanaians as if you love this country. You have an agenda. It's 3 months to elections. Akabo so me miensa e koto aba nti no nko famra me fa me chichire so aban bebi ade ni tiri wo bebi ani tiri wo ne fapem na ama aban tokwa na okona ye dere de minjan ho asem ka Dr. Mahmoud ba me ase osre Ghana fo wada Roma bebi ne aye dodo na so na aka ye ntumi yenwie but when it comes to the fight against galamsey he has a strategy which is based on experience the aye no yentumi nya enye ya nkopem bebi a ebetumi di solutions nyina amayen Nemo ojidi se wo come mining areas na nipa no do e kon do some mining. In addition to all the enforcement no yempe kwan bi e betumi abo om no mutumi mine safely more. Enunti or the Minerals Development Bank beba. Sa bank no ebeboa ama Ghana fo enom kofa China fo kofa Nigeria Burkina Faso fo eba beji om concession eye mine na enunti om fa so eye niema enfata no om nkoye ne sabium. Because all your Ghanani na unya asase wɔ nananom hɔ na ɛyɛ concession e betumi am wanya gold a or the data ne be ma wo wa be hu data ne hu sa ha gold wa ha hu wi a won nananom aka asase no wanya with decentralized minerals commission no akofam licensing regime no nananom ka ho district assemblies ka ho na aboa na licensing ne tumi aye ntem se na Ghanani bi ope bi obetumi nya bi wanya wie no wohia sika e de beta wachi na wotumi de tu fa egudie no wonni bininti ose de obeya ne se obemba Mineral Development Bank no ama wo sika bosia na wo de akotu gold no na enei ye sika sem nsem a ayeden na dollar ebro ye sidia ye presi ye betumi asoso ano no ade ba ko ode ba eye gold backed cedi na ti se ye sika no ye bemba na ho ode na akosoro se ye de gold ne beta echi nti ye boaw na wotu gold ni safely ya cheche kwa obefa so obetu no ni ade nyina awie ya mouse kakra wetumi de etu in a safe manner na ban e de cedi ato na de akọ Bank of Ghana na building and reserves na de back gold no de be ba ne say e be ma win-win situation a lot more of some mercury free machines or the beba say na be ya Ghana for betumi de process gold yi na omo process in a way a chemicals dey be say yen so ni yen sase ogidi say strategies say yen use ni nyina ye strategies say ye na mum emra so say ye be hwe bebe ye duro no na ya pe ekwan bi a ye betumi ahye mu kena na ye de some of these new strategies so say dey aba abeka ho sanyoma we eye normal yen ye gidi say ehwe ekɔ kan ehwɛ ekɔ edim whilst you are enforcing the law whilst you are making sure say all these illegalities are being done away with wo bua na wardens leti ba yɛ ɔmo adwuma wuji nipa no dodo na efi nsuo no so no se na ɛbɛyɛ on sign kɔ nsuo no so nti ɛsɛ yɛpɛ kɔ yɛbɛfa so yɛbɛboa ɔmo a ɔmo betumi ama ɔmo adwuma yɛ den akɔ n'anim wei ɛne deɛ keka ho bebree ɛna Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ɛne mining communities ɛne mining for no ɛka he is not telling them so ba wa wa yɛ bɔne obeyiwe fi prison he is not telling them so ba ɔbɛma ɔmo ayɛ galamsey ɛne illegal mining he is telling them so ba ɔbɛma ɔmo geo data no na ɔmo hu baby potin a gold ne hyɛ ɔba ɔbɛma license regime na yɛ mrɛ no bia ɔpɛ bibia no a ɔwɔ concession etumi akɔkɔ gibi na nanom ɛka license regime mu district assemblies ɛka license regime no mu ɔba sɛ woyɛ Ghana ni na wonya wo concession a sɛ da bɛyɛ nkɔfa boni no ɔmɛgye wo sika nyina nti ɔbɛ make sure sɛ minerals development bank ɛwɔ hɔ a ɛde sika bɛta wɔkyi na wɔtumi ɛde atu gold no madwi mu no sɛ wo de Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ni so ade hu ni na dwen kyerɛ yi ɛbata dia ɔmampani dada John Dramani Mahama ne ne NDC fo ɛyɛ a Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia de no bɛboa na de di kan yetumi asosɔ galamsey niama because we would have provided an alternate way of mining and safe way of mining and appropriate way of mining for our people. We'll be providing an avenue to be able to get this minerals mobilized by government to back our currency, to strengthen our currency. All your way now, I say, yeah, the technical vocational education training about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia can say in these mining areas, no, or the appropriate and safe mining curriculum. Ebeba sa TV training nim se na ebe a nkola ne mranti a omo te mantemu a ye ye mine no mo ona omo kondo so be mine no metumi sua ekwan papa ye fa so a ye de mine efi omo school mbremu no mo wi a omo tumi de aboa ne yetumi ye more appropriate and safe mining ye ngindi se aban toko a okotu galamsey nyina wetumi edi nkonim prekope enso ye gidi se between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the former President Mahama there's a clear distinction in terms of ideas and vision. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the right person for the future of this country, especially when it comes to the fight against galamsey. He is not encouraging galamsey. The former president is encouraging and enabling galamsey. And that is a threat to the good people of this country. But that's it. Pastor was sembre, abeka me when you mri, na ya to adwen edin komose. Me wogide bebre, say me nuanom genzi fo anom nim da. Say bebia galamsey ni tiri ene the fapem efi no ene omo nyina ehu and I'm very sure say moving forward starting from tomorrow CSOs religious leaders traditional authorities organized labor ne ade nyina no ye kasemu ene ye ne ye mu no ye behwe afane afa nyina se na be ye betumi ama obia will sit on their friend saying will stand on their toes and make sure say they are doing the right thing to support the country's fight against galamsey. This fight enye na Akufo-Addo ko enye NPP ko eye Ghana man nyina ye ko na se kabom na ye de adwen ba ko ne akoma ba ko edi eche ne ye ko a ebe de se nipa bonefo ebenya baby ejina se we NPP se we NDC se we SDPP galamsey eye adebone a ye so and we will not stop the fight against this canker until we do away with it. Bedamase na nyame adoma kwesiada ebe so nse hia makra mu nyina